It's a weird, weird world out there, and we don't even really know the half of it yet. Are you ready to learn? We finished research on Shrine Maiden, but her story's a touch gross, so we're just gonna kinda skip on by that. To this. Yet another country run by religious wackos. This time having nothing to do with the Star God's cult, though. The Church of the Red Revolution reveres a prophetic-like figure, Max Guevara, who is said to have been martyred in between 200 to 200,000 years ago, depending on scripture, and is supposed to come back to deliver all the revolutionists from evil and send all the other people to an eternity of creative torment. This joyous event is supposed to happen any day now. Meanwhile, the revolutionists are busy implementing the tenets of their religion: abolition of private property, simple living, helping each other, and unquestioningly following the orders of the priesthood, chasing sinners, who are then, naturally, subjected to creative cruelty, and frantically arming themselves. Not long ago, this land was contested between the Latin Empire and the Confederation. The Red Revolution in-game appears to cover everything between Colombia and the Gulf of Mexico, including the Caribbean. I didn't check that until right now. At the time I was just annoyed that Max Guevara was a prophetic-like figure with two surnames. I always appreciate a comrade, but these ones need to write better scripture. At some point during our continued ruminations, I also became mercurial. You know me. Clever, laser-focused, windy, sad. Still don't know what these are or how they work, but I gotta say, I do kinda think they're neat. I'm guessing it's all down to our captain type, but I don't know that. And oh yeah, we changed versions again, and all radars give you the full rundown on what you're looking at now. You don't just have to guess from the speed and altitude anymore. This, right here, is a civilian transport. We didn't catch it. Events like these, I suppose, are what the various personality types actually do, beyond reminding you that you're sad inside. The money's appreciated, but the minus score here is unfortunate, and all those taxes actually account for $540,000 worth of debt. There's no deadline on that, but it will take up a lot of space in our stores until we can get rid of it. The workers give you extra space at whichever base they're assigned to, but also get paid a monthly salary. I don't normally bother with them. On the whole, if I'd known these would be the consequences of my decisions, I'd probably have tried to make different decisions. Maybe we could have settled for only moderate to high levels of exploitation. Oh well. That's life. Our taxes will be here in 1 hour. And oh, hey, I've been spending money again. The 3 brainers on the way represent another 600k in expenses, but will put us all the way up to 13 thinkers. That's the absolute most we can currently accommodate in our lab. Our early game research output is set to be pretty spectacular, as are our monthly expenses, but it's all going to be worth it if we can figure out just what's going on this dang rock. Who is who? The Society of Earth can be broken down into 3 distinct groups. The first group are the so-called factions: the Academy, the Traders, the Church, and the Mercs! You know, Merc isn't normally capitalized. It's not an acronym, unless...
Hello? Hello? Is this operational? Hello? Wait.
One day, folks. One day. They cooperate with the Star Gods directly, and are given exclusive right to travel freely around the globe. The second group are the local, or provincial, governments. The people who pay us the protection money. They're not very happy with their limited power, and the existence of pirates like us is beneficial to them, as it undermines the dominance of the global factions. But if we attack their ships and officers directly, it won't be popular. On the other hand, getting our hands on their stuff has its obvious, immediate benefits. The third group are the poor masses, on whom the Mutant Alliance is based, an influential force within the local governments, a civil face of the opposition towards the rule of the Star Gods, and also our allies of convenience, as long as we're convenient to them. Finally, the Star Gods themselves sometimes do make an appearance on our planet. The wise avoid them at any cost. Good thing we aren't wise, Captain. So that's what's happening. A big step forward, and as an accompanying step back, the Visit Town research that used to get you all the basic stores has been split into 3 separate projects now. We'll need to do all of those to be able to purchase the guns and tools we could buy earlier, as we can see in our handy tech tree viewer. Someone pointed out the tech tree viewer in the comments, and I decided, why not give it a go? I'm not sure how helpful it is exactly, but I suppose if there's something specific you're angling for with a lot of dependencies, this is the way to go about it. A lot of the projects have warnings that they affect game progression, which is ominous and scary, but in a kind of fun way. The main thing that really got me though was just how many of them seem to mention gnomes. Man, I really want to militarize that gnome. Frankly, I had not even suspected the sheer depth of gnome content I'm being threatened with any time I open up the tech tree viewer. As is well known to my audience, I love gnome. For the time being, we're not gnome capable, but just assume my research picks going forward will be slightly more informed by their promised reward, and slightly less by blind vibes than usual. I want bees! Hang on, what about this one? So many choices! No time for that now. Apostate of Apocalypse. This man claims to be a former cultist of Apocalypse, but he'd left the ranks because the cult lacked vision. He believes we are far better agents of change. He wants to join us to help us immanentize the eschaton. I believe the Apostate of Apocalypse showed up in episode 7, right at the end, and confused me a lot. He's since come forward. Apparently, his name is Dwight. Sounds good, Dwight. Love a Dwight. He originates from the second cult we've learned about today. The world has become corrupt, and life is cheap. People are sinful and unrepentant. A great purge is needed. The Cult of Apocalypse works to hasten the inevitable destruction of the world by any means available, believing that abandon and obliteration brings absolution. It is no wonder, then, that this vast and secretive movement is hunted down by every other faction. The full-fledged members of the cult are touched by the shadow, which basically makes them half demons, fearless, immune to pain, and preternaturally strong. The cult reveres the Dark Ones, although it doesn't seem to be able to control them in any way. It took me a while to work out what was going on with the art there, and that it did need the censor bars.
Which is fine by me.
Oh. He wants to come along? Well, Dwight, we don't normally hire boys, but you seem a nice enough fella. Hey, we're doing good! We're doing real good. Aww. This could be considered a bad omen. All 4 of those happened back to back on the same in-game day. The net result is that we're up a couple points and a few dollars, if you ignore the big hit that we took the day previous from being maximally exploitative. Life comes at you fast. Drifters come at you fast. They're just guys. Vodka. Rob's favourite. Heals a wound and a little morale. After effects from drinking alcohol made of thrown out radioactive space trash, not currently modelled in-game. Since a gal, or I suppose even a Dwight, can use it on themselves, it's handy stuff. Most medical items can't be applied to the user. I swore by these for a while, but I tend not to use them now. It's always better to do proper medical stuff, as you do get the little bit of health back, which also reduces post-fight recovery time. Honestly though, nothing really changed. I just started forgetting to ever equip them on my crafts. This, spoilers, is exactly how it's going to go from here. Okay, we got the basic tools and weapons back online dead quick. And we read the news. Reapers. Well, let me tell you a little bit about those cuddly fellas. So, in base game XCOM, each type of enemy has a corresponding terror unit that are only ever dispatched on their monthly terror attacks. Though they can also be encountered if you shoot the terror ship down early and investigate the crash site. The moniker terror unit does tend to fit them. These enemies have unique and dangerous abilities, such as a chrysalid's infinite self-replication or a cyberdist's explosive finale, as well as just having good stats and causing a lot of problems. At the beginning of the game, the very first terror mission's either against sectoids or floaters. And if you're me, years ago, before I learned how to play video games good, you are praying for floaters. If you roll the funny little greys, you're going to be dealing with psionic attacks and alien tanks right off the bat, month 1. And that's a lot to deal with, especially if you've been slacking on getting those laser weapons. If you roll floaters though, you get a big funny chicken. Large, bipedal goblins, the Reaper is a fortile big melee combatant with dubious speed, no ability to fit through doors, no real means of defense of any kind other than a fairly deep HP pool, and all the way up until OpenXcom, no functioning method of attack at all. Not a lot of people seem to know this, because seeing a Reaper slowly stomp towards them, the players would shoot and kill them, easily. But one of XCOM's many bugs had actually disabled their melee attack. These guys really were just coming in for a hug they could never reciprocate, because they don't have arms. Having been given the ability to bite you in recent times, they'll fairly reliably kill a soldier if generously given the chance. The most dangerous thing they tend to do is sometimes you'll spawn into a mission with one hiding under the Skyranger's ramp at like a weird angle behind the landing gear. That can make them oddly difficult to spot. I guess the stealth units actually. I think it's fair to say it's unlikely they're what took out XCOM in this universe, though they are still around. I'm sure they've even toughened up some in their time wandering the wastes. Still, seasoned pirates don't fear the Reapers. Nor do the wind, the sun, or the rain. We can be like they are. Dwight's here! I'm gonna be honest, people. I've never seen a human with stats this good. Dwight's strength is typically human, which is to say, really bad, and his gunfighting leaves a lot to be desired, but he's come in the door with 115 time units, maxed out bravery, and 100 melee skill. I've never really considered using a human for close quarters work before. They don't tend to have the muscle or the moxie for it, but in this case I've got an ace up my sleeve that might just give Dwight a valuable role on the squad. Welcome aboard, buddy. We do still got a couple names on the list, but I don't think anyone would want them used up on this boy human. I'm holding them back for proper gals, unless y'all specify otherwise. It's a researcher. They're low-level helpers, carrying out surveys and minor investigations for the Academy, writing analyses and doing most of the actual Academy's work in general. They call themselves researchers, but many of them are more like tribals with above-average wits and some fancy equipment. They rarely carry good weapons, but remember that they're tougher and more savvy than they may seem at first. Not sure what that's supposed to mean. I guess they just follow the nurses around with a notepad and pretend to write stuff down while the beatings are being administered. We won't be getting great stuff from our interrogations with them, but they're ransomed for a pretty dang good price. The thing this one told us about was boring. We also thought about medical supplies. These often not quite purebloods live by all sorts of knavery. from relatively benign information gathering to outright theft. They have quick feet and quick wits, required to survive on the fringes of pureblood society. When engaged in melee, they can sometimes dodge blows that would otherwise hit. It's just a lady. I only read it because I wanted to say knavery. Hope that was as good for you as it was for me. She tells us that cash can be placed into bag. You can even remove the cash from bag afterwards. Whoa, that's a lot of words about Apple. In the meantime, nothing's really going on out in the world. Civilians drive by, and occasionally we chase them around for a second before they leave. We don't catch any of them. And this was making me pretty antsy from a putting on a show standpoint, though it is sometimes nice to have the downtime. How am I doing up here, gamers? Are you engaged? How about you slam that like? Like we expected, Captain. Them tunnels go wide and far. Too far, in fact, to be sure how far. They be filled with flammable sludge, and if we allow our enemies get there, it's gonna be a headache. What we, however, didn't expect was a wreckage of all flying machine. Here! See this ammo box as proof? Them brainers might put the old stuff back together, but it ain't gonna be easy. Pirate hideouts have 3 distinct levels of elevation to them. A series of narrow passages and catwalks on top, the main ground element beneath it, and a bottom goo layer. It's not lying when it warns you how annoying it is for enemies to get down there. Not that there's a whole ton you can do about it. It's a horrible goop maze that connects to most rooms and makes you walk slow. If the last enemy's caught down there and not surrendering, you can lose the mission, and the campaign with it, just all your ladies running out of morale and freshness and going crazy looking for them. You know, sometimes I feel like it'd be cool if there wasn't a goop layer at all. But what do I know? Besides, it's in the law now. We'd die without that goop. Yeah. Welcome to my little store. Chemicals, drugs, you name it. I probably don't have it, but I know where to order the basics. Anyway, listen, pal, I'm wasting away here. And I know you have that big ass lab where my talents can be put to proper use, and you could use my contacts. So, let's come to terms. Right? This one gives us a brainer ticket, good for 1 scientist, that can be redeemed at any time. In this instance, the pharmacist is going to be waiting a minute to come in. We're full up right now. Oh, thank goodness we can purchase crack again. We also learned about backpack and opening backpack. We can't open the one we actually researched because the brainers have eaten it. Hey, mission! Wait. We don't have a car. To be honest, even if we did, that's miles away. Can we, like, glue wheels onto the sky bus? I'm a pirate. I'm not above cheating. That's more like piss. Shipwreck gal too. I'm building the next base in fucking Australia. I'm not even meaning. It's not surprising. Once you've researched a guy, you can look at their armor and defenses in the Bootypedia. That's what it's called. In this instance, I'm sorry to say, I think I lied to you last episode. Purpleman's not actually that bulletproof. I guess I've just been historically unlucky with shooting at them. Good to know they're garbage shots too. Oh, Megapol! Megapol not only runs the city police force and prison service, it also manufactures vehicles, weapons and munitions. It directly competes with the Marsec Corporation for lucrative markets in the mining colonies and Mega Primus. The major problems for Megapol are the criminal gangs that distribute Cyclone, and the UFO incursions, which are regarded as a threat to city security. Police vehicles bravely intercept UFOs as they materialize from the dimension gates, but they are woefully under-equipped to deal with them. That might have been wrong. Megapol are, of course, the police force of Mega Primus, the city you're tasked with defending in XCOM Apocalypse. Do not let them get taken over by the aliens. Here, they've graduated to World Police, chasing down any and all crime worldwide. Seems like they're more likely to be against us than with us, due to our love of crime and burgeoning ties to the black market. Ah well, it were nice to see him. We also researched Mushroom. You can turn them into Hilarium, but it takes a lot. And also we can just turn nothing into Hilarium instead, if we want that. I don't know, man. Maybe it's quicker than running down the goop tubes and scooping up a handful? I probably only researched them anyway, because I thought it'd please the gnomes. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Of all the mission types the pirates can encounter in the extreme early game, Ratman Village is the most likely to be an unexpected disaster. There's an early pogrom, obviously, but those are expected disasters. And if there's rats on that mission, you've got a whole nother level of problem. In short, these rats are little fuckers. As an enemy type, the Ratmen have very low health and armor, but high reactions and melee dodge chance. They'll never panic, no matter how badly the mission's going for them, and make prodigious use of the Spotter Sniper AI. I've complained about this before. If there's one hater of that mechanic, it is me, but it feels different when the rats do it. You can't even be mad. Oh, they're cheating? They're literally rats. They'll be poorly equipped with a mix of black powder pistols, knives, bows and crossbows, but these are all things that hit hard enough to be a threat, and we should be expecting significant volume of fire. There are many rats, lurking in every nook across the village, hiding by every window, waiting for you to let your guard down. As such, we're going to have to put to use everything we've learned today to have any hope of... I'm kidding. We learned about cults and garbage. We did bring Dwight along, though. Check out Wish.com Punisher here. Oh, those are the clothes the boy brought with him. We have a less embarrassing uniform for him at home, but I forgot. Looks loaded up to me. Gearing up for these, you want to prioritize low damage, high shot count gunnery. I'd normally de-emphasize melee, but we've pretty much brought all of our best close range fighters today. Rats and their ilk will go down to one good hit from pretty much anything, so shotguns and SMGs are the way to do it. If you hit a thing 2 or more times, the odds of them all being 0% damage rolls drop dramatically. We've not followed these rules as gospel today, but you know, we gotta have a good time too. This is what I'm talking about, man. You see him in there, lurking. The ones we pose do piss all damage, but can use their cheater moves to fire arcing projectiles over the tops of things that they can't see past. From very specific angles, they can even shoot through the skybus roof and hit the gals inside. So watch out for that. A quick burst from Cora sees him off before that can become a problem. Oh, fuck this guy. We're not even talking about the dogs right now. And it looks like Dwight's found a couple more. Buck also sees one. She has a machine gun today. Shot the bus 45 degrees to the side of her for no reason 5 times, and the rat once. I can't say it didn't work. Brigand makes a run for one of the nearby buildings and falls victim to a frankly absurd angle from one of Dwight's bow rats. This wasn't even a spotter sniper thing, you actually need Lost to reaction fire. He can just see through the craft and my 5 other pirates. That boy's playing Jake Solomon XCOM. It's a minor wound though, and Kez has her back. The little rat shack appears to be clear. Rob almost catches a musket ball. And then an arrow. And then I decide to stop pushing my luck. Busy first turn, that. Hot LZ to death. Of course, all that commotion brings more of them scurrying out of the woodwork. A side effect of the rat men and their pets being just silly little guys is that it's often really hard to tell where they are past the terrain. I am genuinely sorry about the dog shooting. I hate to kill a pupper in a video game, but in this case it is pretty fucking necessary. Those things are terrors. Dogs have beast AI, which basically means they wander randomly unless something strays close enough for them to potentially dash over and take a swing out. At which point they have guaranteed detection, even through walls. Their melee attacks are powerful, accurate, and extremely fast. You're more likely to get hit 10 times than once or twice, and that'll probably kill a lady from full health. Maybe even more than one. If a bad dog gets in the craft with you, it's basically all over. A lot of different factions deploy dogs against you, but they're at the strongest in this kind of man. Lots of weird windy little passages for him to lurk in, roofs to pounce from, short sightlines. I really want Dwight to move up, but you just can't cover that much unexplored terrain with the hounds about. They're basically landmines that have to be disarmed for you to progress. Be that as it may, when the dust settles, all of this turns new contacts are lying still. Was that door open before? Turn 3 starts off suspiciously quiet. Except for this one murder that I had to go out my way for. You'll be happy to hear that Kez has finally finished pulling the arrow out of Brigand. The net effect is that she's down a single hit point, and mad as hell about it. I tell her to advance behind the expendable meat behind Dwight. Oh, there he is. The mission briefing pointed out this guy specifically. Bilbo Swaggins, I think it called him. They have slightly better stats, abuse spot a sniper AI a little harder, and most importantly, pull their gear from a slightly more dangerous loot pool. The nastiest thing they'll come at you with is a little SMG that shoots fire, but we've dodged that here. This one just shoots harmless bullets. Apparently, he's also really brave. But Bilbo's not bulletproof. This does put Buck in a slightly compromising position. I was really hoping she'd hit the first burst. Still getting used to the recoil, I imagine. She's only used to handling the worst pistol in the game. Maybe Dwight can help us out some here. No. That's another unfortunate L for the large rocks. The bullets are even worse. Brigand's more of a stabber. Kara doesn't really have an excuse, though. Third round on Rob. Let's go, Rob. Dynamite. Was there ever any doubt? While we're on to mopping up the stragglers here, y'all went large rock wild in the comments last time. Big geology heads in chat. I gotta stress, they're not all mean. Having an extremely disposable, handy throwing weapon serves a lot of functions. They fit in any inventory slot you like, they cost fixed time units to throw, the accuracy and damage genuinely just aren't that bad. They're free, you literally just get them from the earth. They go great on melee fighters with a little leftover weight and no aptitude for gun shooting, but do the most damage in the hands of a gal with good strength and throwing stats. At which point they'll outperform most bullets our brainers currently understand in terms of raw power. By about double. We can throw them pretty hard. They also work great as a meme. Took me a few turns to find that rat. you know, we do it all for the 21 bananas and 1 apple. The gold and jewels are okay too, I guess. That was just a little village. There can be larger ordeals than that. And even still, there were 14 enemies there, packed into not a whole ton of space. With that out of the way, we can get back to all of our important thoughts. Perfect. Protective gear type. Bruh.